I feel like I've selected a course that might delay my ultimate goal, but will still help transform a lot of people along the way. And that's ultimately what I want to do. Is it's not about me, it's about everybody else and what it is I can do to try and help everybody else so that they too understand in this lifetime. And I know if I dive in and if I really take this on, I know people are going to witness it and they're going to be moved and also want to try and have the same sort of experience by going within themselves. But it won't add to the overall understanding for the general public and everybody else. And for people that don't understand it or don't believe that awakening type of experiences can happen. Because what happens whenever you have an awakening? What does it mean to be awake in the first place? And I'm only saying this based off of my own personal experience, so it might be different for others. But from my experience, what it means to be awake is that I realize that my normal waking consciousness is a dream state. Everyone knows what it feels like to awaken from a dream, but not everybody knows what it feels like to awaken from the dream of life into a much more vivid, real state than this waking consciousness. And so whenever you awaken in this other state of being, this other realm of existence, one of the things that you can clearly see is that this entire life is like a giant game and a dream. And so one trick of the matter is that we don't realize it's a game or a dream when we get incarnated. And I say that as a generalization because everything exists on a spectrum. So there are some people that are born into this world and they know. They know where they came from. They have past memories. They have past understanding. The veil is very thin for those people. And then there's the other end of the spectrum where those people don't have any idea. They don't remember at all. And everybody else exists in the middle. So this other side, this other state, this other realm, what is it and what does it look like? Firstly, it's the exact opposite of this realm. Because one thing you must keep in mind is equals and opposites. Duality. They exist on a scale, and it's an equal scale, and it's an inseparable whole, whatever it is. So in this realm, we all have physical bodies. We see separate, solid objects. We have time in this realm. And in the other realm, it's a little bit different. In the other realm, I had no physical body that I was aware of. Everything that I was looking at was pixelated and not solid. And what I mean by pixelated is that I could see the individual particle, not only as an individual, but as a collective whole, which was either the table, my body, the earth, whatever. And that individual particle looked like it was bursting with light and life, like it had an essence that was radiating out of it that you could actually see. And what I want you to envision is a whole bunch of tiny little spheres, because spheres are in 3 dimensions. And now let's take that a step further. And those tiny little spheres, I want you to imagine every single particle of every single different object on the earth in existence. And what this is going to ultimately look like is the most sophisticated, realer than real hologram you've ever seen or been able to conceptualize. And it is so incredibly beautiful because everything looks so clear and so real. It's realer than real. And you have such clarity whenever you're there because in this state, in this physical realm, we all have a filter, which is our mind. And through every single experience that we have in our life, we start to knit together the filter of perception of ultimate reality. It's like pure consciousness has to be filtered through our own bias. But in that state, we don't have any bodies, so we don't have any filters. So whenever you have an idea or a thought, you know it instantly. You see it instantly. And whenever you see it from a 360-degree perspective, as if you had experienced it all yourself firsthand. That type of firsthand experience gives you a feeling of knowing, a feeling. And that feelings can communicate a vast array of knowledge in an instant because you feel it. You know it. So, not only is it everything that I've just described, but there's also no time in this realm. And whenever I asked myself what was going on, just like a hologram manifesting in front of me, I saw boom, 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 boom. All of these layers manifest. And what I described these layers as were layers of being, because that's what I was communicated and understood whenever I asked. And what it means to have layers of being, or what I mean by layers of being, is that in any given moment, you are physically feeling something within your body and vibrating at your own unique frequency. And whatever frequency it is that you choose to feel in your body, you're existing at one of those states of consciousness. Ooh, I have an illustration I forgot about. Look, I drew this earlier. Okay, so these are the layers of being. Consciousness, and your degree of consciousness goes this way, and time goes this way. So whatever it is that you're feeling in your body, you're vibrating in one of those vibrational planes, and you're experiencing whatever's going to happen in that timeline. And because there is no time, in every single moment, you get to be in whatever spot it is that you're choosing to feel and vibrate at that moment, regardless of what it is you felt the moment before, because each moment is new in this realm. It matters not what happened in the past. The only thing that's happening is right now. But in this reality, in this state, we have the perceived illusion of time, where we feel like there's one cohesive picture, one story that's being told instead of an infinite amount of stories that are being accumulated together into one long story. And whenever you're in a dimensional plane that's higher than our third dimension, you can see all of the storylines that exist. You can go through and sail through all of those layers of being, and you can feel it, see it, and know it. As if you had already experienced it, but it's like just in that realm. It's all very hard to kind of describe accurately, because anytime that I try and describe this, the second I open my mouth and use words, it just limits it completely from what it actually is, because even if you're understanding what I'm saying, you don't know what I'm saying. You don't feel it. You haven't experienced it before, and you need to. You have to, in order to understand the magnitude and the magnificence of this realm. When we fully understand it, it will revolutionize our world, because we're already starting to have an understanding of it, which is quantum mechanics. It is the realm of quantum mechanics, and it is completely governed by the laws of quantum mechanics. But the only thing that is not accepted by the general public is that we can be consciously aware of the layers and the dimension of quantum mechanics, where like those rules apply. Because not only was there no time and I saw all those dimensional layers and everything, I could also be anywhere that I chose to, anywhere. All I had to do was think of it, and I was instantly there, as if whatever it is that I am is all over this entire universe, and all I have to do is tune in to whatever spot it is that I want to go to. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have the third dimension, is to learn how to try and control our mind and this realm. Because as soon as you think something, it happens. And sometimes that's not good. As if you have a scary thought or a sad thought or something, it can take you some places you might not want to see or go. And I have never had a bad sort of experience on this before, because you got to understand, whenever I was in this dimensional plane, I was vibrating at such a high state. There was nothing that could really bring me down and feel that badly, because it's like I could feel like every cell in my body, even though I didn't have a body, it felt like every cell of whatever it was that I am was just bursting, saying, yes, 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 me. Ooh. So happy and joyous. The joy I felt, my God, if people could just feel it for 1 second, I think it would cure all of the world's problems. All of them. Because you would see the problems for what they are. The problems are caused by us, because we don't realize that we're the ones creating. We are creating unconsciously, and what we need to do is start creating consciously and collectively. Oh, all together, group effort. If everybody just realized the only person that they need to listen to, the only person that they need to keep in check is themselves. And every other person, if they're doing the same thing that you are and just keeping number one in check, then everything is okay. It's only whenever we start to lose control of ourselves that all of the chaos is created, especially within our own lives. And whenever the chaos is being created at such an exponential rate, you kind of get lost in the chaos and you think that you become like that you're like a victim of it or something, when in all actuality, you are the one, the only one manifesting and creating that chaos. Because one thing I want you to understand that I saw in this other realm is that we don't have bodies in the way that we think we do. And what I want you to visualize is, imagine a tube that runs from your groin past your head. And inside the center of this tube is an energy force, a really, really bright light. And it's radiating out and projecting out your three-dimensional body, which also looks pixelated. And surrounding your pixelated three-dimensional body is an invisible sphere. And these spheres are made up of all of these layers. And these layers are like, they look like shields. It's not a shield, but there's no word that I know better to describe kind of what it looks like. And these shields were all differing shapes, sizes, and some of them had an animation, others had a stationary object, and some had absolutely nothing on it at all. And they were all differing degrees away from the people, and they were spinning around at their own unique speeds as well. And it just looks like super fast. And I thought to myself, what is that? And because this is the realm of knowing where there is no filter, I knew instantly, oh, those are all of their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Everything that was going on in their minds, I could physically see. And so this led me to think about something yesterday, because I was listening to a guy who's a medium and who has the ability to see past people that have like died, the loved ones, there we go, your loved ones that have died on the other side. And so he's talking to them. And then I watched another video of another lady, and she can see things in her mind, and she said it kind of looks like a movie clip or something like that's actually playing in front of her. And I think what's happening is that some people, because everything exists on a scale, some people have the ability to see this realm, the other side, with all of those shields, which those shields are like You have to imagine a really sophisticated computer system that's being projected around you, like it's a capsule that is all of your thoughts and feelings and stuff. And whenever you silence that capsule and it stops moving, that's when your energy is able to rise and go into the realm that I'm explaining to you. So, oh my God, I've talked for so long. And I've done it in one time. And I can currently hear my brother making fun of me because he doesn't understand this realm. I know, and I knew this so clearly when I was in that other realm. I knew how many were not going to understand what I was saying. But like I said, I was bursting with such levels of joy. I just wanted to hold those people and say, it's okay. It's okay if you don't see. It's okay if you don't agree. Because I know one day you too will also see. Whether it's in this lifetime or another lifetime, this is what this game is all about. We're all playing this game of forgetting and remembering, forgetting and remembering. And what we're forgetting is our eternal history, who it is that we are. Because if you have access to that and you see that, it's really hard to have an individual sort of experience because you start kind of feeling like an alien, like slightly less connected and not as in this realm, as if you're kind of like also in another realm as well simultaneously. Kind of feels like you're evolving. And I have no idea what you're evolving to or what it's going to feel like, but I do think that we're evolving to that state. Oh God. You hear about aliens and stuff, and they talk about 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all the way up to like the 12th density beings. I wonder what density I am, besides obviously three-dimensional right now, but what it is that I can do and that my soul has evolved to. Because I sometimes feel like I'm a stranger on this planet. Even though I still am understanding everything that's going on day by day. Just is kind of disappointing that not even my family trusts what I say is true, and they don't really understand my experience or my story that I've shared with them. And that's kind of sucks to have your family think that you're not a rational person and that you don't really use logic, because before this experience, that's all I used. I used to think the answer was to overanalyze, because if I overanalyzed the situation, then I would be able to understand it even further. I was half right, and I had good intentions. It is about using your logical mind and using rational thought. However, that's only half of the equation, because you also have to have your intuition turned on and in tune, and really get it in balance with your rational logical mind so you can be led by both of the paths, the spiritual with your eternal knowledge and your connection to the higher, and also your rational logical mind of how to have yourself survive and thrive while being alive in this physical dimension. It's about combining them both. And right now, our entire Western world is only focusing on one side, the rational, logical mind. And don't worry, I know, like I said, it's important. But after we have developed this enough, we need to realize what we have been ignoring and start to develop them both and have it create a nice equal balance for not just our personal lives, but for our collective reality and world that we create. This is how we start to thrive. And it starts by going within and realizing you're in your own little computer game. It's the most sophisticated computer program. And you are the only one in control of your life and your little character. There are other people that can be interacting and influencing your current video game, but ultimately, it's you and your choice about what you want to feel and vibrate in your body and which timeline it is you want to have happen. Because all of them are happening simultaneously, and you get to choose any one you want. It's just a choice away, and it starts in the eternal moment of now. What are you going to choose? I'd say